Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a little bit of short game down here at Waterfront today. So we're talking about how to assess different lies, what kind of shots we're going to expect from those lies and how we can change our clubs accordingly. So first of all, you're going to be out there. The rough at the moment, especially in the UK, is going fast, so it's pretty thick around the edge of the greens. Hopefully most of the time you're on the fairway, but on the fairway we're going to get a tighter lie and we're going to see different things and how that ball reacts and what kind of strike we can get. The first thing we want to talk about is off the fairway. So a fairway lie is going to be something that's going to launch a little bit lower. We're going to be able to get a little bit, pheasants and everything making noises. We're going to be able to get a little bit more cleaner contact. We're going to get it closer to the lower grooves on the face, which is going to help it launch a little bit lower with a little bit more spin. Once we come then into the rough, it's sat down or it might be sat up in the rough. We're going to hit the middle of the face. It's more than likely going to launch a little bit higher. We've also got some interference of the grass. Potentially if you're playing early mornings, there's going to be dew on the ground as well. So we've got water in between the face. We've got grass in between the face. We're going to get less spin, less control and a higher trajectory. So this is where we've got to think about what kind of club we are using. So if I was going to the flag on the left here at the top of the green, I'm probably standing right in the way as usual. I can get there with a 56, we've got to go over a little bit of a ditch here and then up and onto the green. So off this lie here, I can play in a 56, play it in relatively low with a bit of spin on there. So here I'd be able to get that club working back, launching low, a little bit of a miss hit, caught that a little bit before, but you can see that launched pretty low and that's the 56, which is the highest lofted club in my bag. So again, I'll try and say, we all do it, we all leave it a little bit short every now and then. Again here, take the loft off, keep it nice and low. Launched in, plenty of spin, stopped at 4 or 5 feet. So a very good shot from here would be probably inside tour edge or very close to that. So a tight lie, we can get a lot better contact, lower to the club face, and we can get that going where we want, even if it was 2 takes. First time, just a little bit before the ball. Again, give yourself that feedback. I know there, caught it a little bit heavy, readjusted, and got that better the second time. So now we come into the rough, and here this ball's going to launch a little bit higher. So if I try and play the same kind of motion now, hopefully on the camera you can see the flag, but here the same kind of motion, if I try to play it lower, you can see instantly there, popped up, it's done a job, and it's not too bad, it's probably around about 10 feet, but we can see there, certainly with the strike on that one, a lot closer to the middle of the face. So, didn't do anything different, set up exactly the same, tried to play the same shot, tried to get it coming out low, but because of the lie, I wasn't able to do that. So I'm going to give myself a similar lie just to where I was, and I'm going to go now for my 56 and I'm going to go down a club to my 52. So 52, and I'm going to try and play the same kind of shot. So although it's short-sided here, this club is now going to pop up a little bit higher. It's going to hit higher on the face because of the lie. We're not going to get as much spin. So what we also got with that first shot was obviously with the higher ball flight, it lands softer, so we get no run and it's come up short. So 52 here, same shot. I know full well I'll be stood in the way of the flag more than likely. Not the best camera work, but same kind of shot. And that, I will get out of the way, has launched lower, just landed on the green and then ran out up towards the flag. I know there from that kind of lie, again a centered strike, very much close to the middle of the club. It's launched it still a little bit lower because I've changed the loft on my club, and that's got that going more direct even and towards the flag. And I can dictate then where I land the ball and how it's going to run out. Even there, I'd have probably liked to landed it a little bit further. I don't mind going past so we can see what it's doing coming back. And like somebody told me the other day, I can't remember who it was, if the chip doesn't go past, it can never go in, which is a very valid point. Same with the putt. But you see there, I've adjusted for those lies. I've been able to take into account what kind of lie it is, where that might strike the face, and then pick the club accordingly. Too many people here would come down to this one, like we see, even if you're James Robinson, you get your 60 out. We then try and get it up into the air, and then we always see the old classic, great lob shot, comes up short, perfect strike. Oh, why did that come up short? I should have swung a little bit further. But that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid making a longer motion for this such a short shot, maybe 25 yards. I know it's short-sided, but a shorter motion we can be more consistent on what kind of strike we're going to get, what kind of then bounce and what kind of spin we're going to get. Just think, in the rough we're not going to get as much spin. On the fairway it's already going to launch a little bit lower, and we can get contact lower on the face because it's a tighter lie. So we're going to go around the green now. That's a big old pheasant there. Anyway, moving on. We're going to go down now, play a different shot, and again assess different lies and how that might affect what club selection we do. Time and time again I see on this shot we're below the green a little bit, we don't use the correct loft, and as a result we get the same tendency, we come up short and then we're still chipping. So guys, hopefully the camera angle on this one is not putting you off too much. Plenty of clouds taking up most of the screen. But here I'm a little bit below the green, and this is a lie that I see people time and time again, like I said, end up leaving it short, not getting on there, using the wrong club, using the wrong loft, because they haven't assessed the lie correctly. Here we're on a fairway cut, it is dry, but we're also on an upslope here, and what people don't take into account is how much the upslope is adding to your loft. So most of the time people will be opening up that club face, we're then adding more loft, so to my 56 that soon becomes a 60 degree by opening it up ever so slightly. I then get an upslope, that's adding more loft to that club. And every time here what I'll see people is they either go, oh, I've accelerated too much, I've gave that a little bit more than I thought, or they're so worried about just landing it on, it gets a little bit delicate, and that's never running out and getting towards the flag. So the flag here is around about 5 paces onto the green. I can still look at changing the lofts that I have got, so 52 again, give myself a similar lie and playing that shot. I now open it up ever so slightly, that becomes 54 or 56. The slope gets it a little bit higher, but it's going to come off a little bit more direct. So just because I'm below the green, we don't have to get loads of loft and try and play it really high. The angle of the slope and the club you choose needs to get us the flight that's going to get that still running towards it. We don't have to be landing soft here, we can still play a normal shot, reasonable trajectory, and get that running up towards the flag. Not past, so like I said before, that wouldn't have gone in because it's not past the hole. But on these lies, don't just go instantly for your most lofted because you're below the green. Well, I need loft to get it up and onto the green. You see there, by still opening my 52, I probably could have even opened up my 48 there. Got that little bit of loft, match better with the slope and get it more direct, and take away the ones that are a little bit long because I put too much speed in because I get tense, and also the ones that come up short and leave myself a longer putt. Or on your greens, think about it, do you have a lot of slope coming away off the round of the edge of the greens? If you play in the Middle East, all the greens are pretty much bald and that'll be running back to your feet, and you'll be having the same shot again, which we know nobody wants to see. So let's get into the rough now, play a similar kind of shot, and let's talk about what club you would use from there. It's still going to be an uphill lie, but in the rough, do we change the club? So another cracking wide lens I think here, a lot less cloud there, just a few more trees. But we're now in the rough, we're now below the green, and now one thing we need to think about is when we're assessing the lie, is it sat down, is it on the top of the grass? At the moment, like I've said earlier on in the video, the grass is getting thick now around the edge of the greens. It can easily quickly sit down, especially here in the UK. So what we want to do here is think about what kind of loft we need. For me, 56 is here, these balls are all sat down, I've rolled them down here, they've all sat down into the grass, so I need as much loft as I can get, because what I also need from this kind of lie is a lot of speed. What I see a lot of times is people might go less loft, try and bump it out, get it back in the stands, club snags, the ball snags in the grass, and it runs out to here. We've then got a longer putt, or potentially, like I said, if the greens are more sloped, it's going to run back down to your feet. So we need speed, so we need loft as well. We want to get the upward angle out of this lie so there's not as much interference with the grass. We then also want speed to make sure we're not getting the club snagged, closing down and leaving it short. So from here, when you're down, have a couple of practice swings next to the ball, seeing how that club is reacting through the grass. If it's very thick, you'll know how much speed you need to put in and how positive you need to be. We want to let the club head past the hands here. We don't want to be driving it this way. That's when we hit the dreaded shot to the right for the right-handed golfers. So a couple of practice swings, and then if you do have your bag, you do have your trolley next to it, if it is wet in the morning, you're playing early, dry the club face, because that is going to affect how it comes out and off the club. That might mean it comes a little bit shorter, and if we're having loft and it's coming up short, again, there's a potential for it to come back to your feet. So open the club face slightly, keep that speed, let the hands pass, and you'll see how that comes up nice and high, lands very soft, and I haven't taken a big divot. I've just moved that one when I knew it was in the lie. So let's come in again. This one is a little bit thicker around this ball, so some nice positive swings straight over the ball. A little bit more speed there. See how that ball popped up, and that's what you can get from this lie. Because there's a lot of grass interference, it might come off a little bit hotter, but for me it's better to be ever so slightly past the flag on this occasion than it is to be short. We don't want to be leaving ourselves running back to the feet. You'll see if I go to 52, which I've got there, we can open it ever so slightly, but you see, because we haven't got as much bounce on my 52, it already starts to dig in. So it's very hard here on the upslope to match that up better. So try the same. And again, just snagged, wouldn't let me pass the hands, and you saw how much lower that came out off that lie. So when you're on this kind of lie, guys, you're a little bit low, below the green. If you're in the thick rough, we need loft, we need speed, we need to be positive through that shot so the club head doesn't snag, which is the opposite. So obviously if we're on the fairway, we need to think about it's going to launch potentially a little bit lower, but I can open up a 52 or a 48 even, matched with the slope, obviously add in some loft, and I can be positive with that shot. We don't instantly there have to go to loft just because we're below the green. So assessing your lie, guys, we're going to do more of these shots in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to get out on the golf course, play some shots, play out of some wet rough, see how that reacts, what kind of shots we need to start to be looking at and playing when we're playing at different times of the day. But guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that. I'll see you again later in the week.